Oh, the Silverado had to go Friday, still here, and it's in my spot. Cool. All right, guys, how you doing? Get ready for a heart-filled, pulse-pounding, action-packed video. I'm gonna spend a day in the shop. We might not fix any cars. I'm not sure what's gonna happen. Car apart in my bay with no ticket on it, so it's side work. The truck that had to go Friday night or people were gonna die is in my parking space. It's not, he didn't pick it up, I guess. Charger's still here. Not sure if we're going to do anything more with that. It's got oil leaks and it keeps setting cam timing codes because it leaks down 3 quarts low and he keeps driving it and doesn't check the oil. It's probably got to fix oil leaks. Honda drove in a ditch. Needs to go to a body shop. Project truck looks all lonely out there. I haven't touched it. Haven't really felt like working any more than I already have been at work. A lot going on, so, but don't worry, we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna do what we can. We're gonna try to make it work, learn things, have fun, de-stress, see what we can get done today. I'll keep you posted, let's put it that way. Shop's mostly opened up. What do we have to do? Hang out and see if we get any cars. Maybe someone put an engine in with their friends and didn't tighten all the bolts or something like that, or maybe someone rear-ended someone and needs that looked at. Or maybe Jace or Omar have so much work they can't finish it all and I'll get a decent ticket. We'll see. Stay tuned. All right. So far, no new work. This is the Charger from last week. It's leaking oil, setting a PO344 cam timing code. Number 1 cause, low oil, and it came in 3 quarts low on oil. I told you guys last week. So they wanted me to recheck, make sure it was the rear main. It is. He wants me to diag the code too, but now that there's oil in it, it doesn't set. But it was set when the oil was low, so it seems pretty simple. But when I was trying to explain it to him, what I got was this. So I don't know what that means, but whatever. So we'll see what happens. If we're gonna fix the rear main seal, try to keep the oil in the engine and go from there. There's oil, it's leaking so bad. There's oil all over the back of the car. I mean, it's bad. I'm guessing when it's at speed on the highway and crankcase pressure goes up, it leaks even worse. But I'm not measuring a lot of blow by. I am gonna stick a vacuum pressure gauge in the dipstick hole and make sure it doesn't have a lot of crankcase pressure. It's not burning oil out of the exhaust, but that doesn't mean it can't be bypassing worn piston rings or something. We did put this engine in like I thought, but it's a used engine with, basically we got a 30-day warranty. I'm not sure what they told the customer. Usually we'll put it on the paperwork and I haven't seen the original documents. So let's get a pressure gauge in that dipstick, see where that's at, and we'll go from there. My gauge is a little, not exactly zeroed. I could open it up and tweak it, but we know what the starting point is. It's showing just like almost a half a pound. So we'll keep that in mind. We'll fire it up and see what this thing does. Didn't move at all, so that's pretty good. It should really pull it down just like vacuum. So let's rev it up a little. You guys will have to tell me what it does. Bet you it didn't look too bad, did it? Look at this gem. It's an all Dodge day so far. Hood shocks are bad. Customer says I got a coolant leak. And I've done the easy stuff. Check it out. I'll give you a 0.5 to figure it out. This thing is, we're gonna go 4. I'm thinking 3 or 4. I'm feeling generous this morning. Let's go 4. 156,000 miles on this Dodge Durango. Customer says, looks like it's leaking at the heater hoses where they meet the firewall. And he might have other leaks too. So we're gonna pressure test it. It's really hot right now. But if it's got a bad enough leak, it won't hold any pressure. And the way I got this ticket, I just saw it pull in the parking lot. I waited about 5 minutes, went up there and said, we got anything else? And he just had printed it. So I got it. I don't know if that would have happened if I waited for him to come ask. We got to do things a little differently lately. Let's take a look. Hope they got pictures of all this damage. He's a carpenter. This is a semi-hot hood air intake. I guess it'd be a warm air intake. At least it has a deflector from the exhaust manifold, but it doesn't stop warm air from getting around here. The factory air box takes air from under here, further away from the engine. Just for those of you who are interested. I've said it a couple of times, and I'll keep saying it. That thing is leaking back there. And it's plastic, and it goes into the dash. So I have to see how that disconnects. Maybe something, a cover comes off from out here that you can pop it all apart without taking the dash out of the car or something. I'm sure they got a neat way of doing it, but I haven't done one. I got to figure that out. And I'm going to do a vehicle inspection, check to see if anything else is going on with this thing, look at the brakes and tires and stuff, and then we'll revisit it if we get to do some work on it. All right, one Dodge repair underway. You do the rear main seal, and first we got to disconnect the battery because we got a lot of stuff to do under there. It's like, oh, that wasn't really that tight, was it? It's like 7 hours worth of labor on this thing, so let's get cooking. I can see stuff. You want to see stuff too? That's the whole point of watching videos on repairs, right? Oil pan's got to come out. Transmission's got to come out. Drive shaft doesn't have to come out necessarily, but to get the transmission down it might. It's a pretty stubby little guy. I wonder if I can disconnect it back here, set it down and get it out of there a little bit to sneak the transmission out that way. I'm not sure. I'll probably have to take the exhaust down, but we're gonna figure it out. The bolts have been soaked in oil really nicely. I think we lowered the estimate like 500 bucks. Help them out. We've been recommending the rear main seal on this for a while, and he doesn't want his lights to come on. If you remember when I did the ABS on this, there was no lights. It was full of oil and I drove it, no lights. Well, because of this leak, we're getting a light. So we're gonna do this and see how it goes, make sure there's no other cam timing codes coming back after that. We told them after we're done, we want to drive it for a day or two. Several road tests, see if we get the light before we give it back to them, telling them it's fixed, right? But honestly, if you get cam timing codes and you have big oil leaks, they kind of go together. So if you don't want to buy a new car, then you fix your old one. This got a new rack in it too, which I think is how you take the oil pan out, but it looks to me like it fits out. Procrastinating a little. Yep, that's right. Oh, look at these little son of a guns. See that up there? I don't know if you can see it. This is too stiff for me to move it. That is what we call in the business a center support bearing, two-piece drive shaft. So we're gonna have to drop some exhaust, some heat shields. Uh-oh. That's tiny on it. I might have to heat those up. I thought they were gonna pop right off of there because they're soaked in oil. You know what I'll do? I'll try a more powerful tool first. That worked. Felt like it was going to snap my 3/8 ratchet. There's quite a few cross members to get off of here. Already got the big guns out, might as well use them. Definitely having a gravity again today. It's almost predictable at this point. Alright, stopped me from working on the rear main seal. Did 2 waiting AC checks on 2 relatives that came to wait to have their cars looked at to get it. So I'm going to work on both of them, I guess. Filter capacity low. Recoverable lockout after 60.19 pounds. Replaced now? No. It has no refrigerant in it. And with no refrigerant, your AC does not work. So I'm going to find out why. And we'll take a look. Oh, I looked at the RAM too. The Dodge Ram that I did all the work on, it took 4 hours off the ticket. They said the airbag light's on. I'm like, I know, I put it on the inspection, but I must have forgot. So they're mad at me because I didn't put it on there. But if you run around like a chicken without a head, you might bump into stuff. That's just how it works. So in any event, that's been bypassed. It's supposed to go over here somewhere. I'm guessing the other end was bypassed too. It's kind of weird. Let's see if we can find out where the refrigerant went though. And if I find something, I'll show you. I couldn't find any leaks, so I put some refrigerant in it. Compressor don't sound too happy about the whole situation. I also noticed this and this, and they are leaking. I'm gonna turn the AC off, see if that noise is all air conditioning. It also has motor mount problem. Oh, a wasp. It also has motor mount problems and stuff separately. So yeah, it does work though. Let's see. AC off. AC on. Yep, got a noisy AC compressor. That's why I couldn't find any refrigerant leaks. It does have coolant leaks, and it needs a compressor, and it needs tires and some other stuff. So I'm gonna send the inspection report, and then they got a Cadillac too I'm looking at next. All right, we pulled the matrix out, pulled up this 2017 Cadillac SRX or something, I think this is. You guys know what the SUV one's called? Pretty clean car, needs some front tires, needs some front brakes, needs wipers. It's got oil leaks galore. Check engine lights on, TPMS lights on, oil change overdue warning is on. It's due at 122.8. What are we at? Press brake to start. Oh, there it is. Testing. The AC doesn't work. It is 1234YF, by the way. I want to see the mileage. I'm curious because I didn't look to see if it was overdue or not, or how far. Well, that beep's annoying, isn't it? Let's see here. I just dismissed everything. I'm crazy like that. Oh, oil life reminder 0. Did you guys see it when I went past it? I don't see it. Usually the GMs have a little series of buttons somewhere for mileage, but oh, you know what? There's up and down arrows here. I'm gonna edit this all down. Don't worry, I won't torture you guys too. I don't like to do that, you know that. I'm not smart enough to figure out the mileage. My bad. Oh, there it is. 126,393. I knew that. 126,393. So 3,500 miles overdue or something. No big deal. It's probably 10,000 mile intervals. A lot of places will set them to, which you guys know I don't like that too much. We're talking 14,000 miles between oil changes. Let's see if the old 1234YF's oh nope, second stage recovers. It was low on refrigerant, so I wanted to see how much was in there. I pulled out 0.225 pounds. Of course, this is in grams, so you can do the math if you like, but it's low on refrigerant. I don't see any leaks. Very strange. So I'm gonna grab a dye light and see if I can see any leaks with a dye light. I did find things like the screws not down, tons of oil leaks and stuff. There you go. Oil leaking from the valve covers and all that kind of thing. I'll see if I can find some leaks and I'll show you if I do. Well, after all that time filling it, the compressor's not running, but it says on. Very strange. If I go back here and I go into mode functions, miscellaneous test, compressor. This is the same test, I think, but I want to make sure I didn't miss something. Yeah, it's the same test. Let's go back here to the HVAC module. Read data stream, system data, request signal, system status, fan only. Request signal, yes. That's kind of strange. Permission data, select all. Compressor clutch inhibit reason, no decision. Compressor clutch status, disengaged. 0% refrigerant solenoid valve command. Plenty of pressure. Request signal, yes. I'm going to send a report about that. The mileage is totally different in here than it is on the cluster too, but we'll cross that bridge if we have to. So So we'll have to look into a couple of things and we'll come back to it. The Matrix wants to do the compressor and condenser, and we're wanting to get that done today. It's about 12:30, which shouldn't be a problem, I don't think. But I got to figure out what was wrong with this stuff. I'm going to try a code clear. This thing had a bunch of codes, cam timing and mass airflow. I don't know if someone's been working on it. Like I mentioned earlier, screws are like crooked and not tightened all the way and stuff. But I'm going to try clearing those codes just to see if it would inhibit it because of those codes. You think it would say engine codes, inhibited for engine codes or something. But in any event, now they're cleared except for the tire pressure sensor code. We'll start it up again and see if we get any pressure change. When I first started it up, it was 140 or so over 90, and little by little this went up. So part of me is thinking that something's up with the compressor, and it doesn't know how to tell me that. Let's see after clearing the codes what we get. AC is still on. Auto. Make sure the auto switch is lit up. Oh, I got something. So that must have been what it was. I'm mad about the codes. Let's see if it's cold now. Should cool off pretty quickly. It's been in the shade a little while, so it doesn't have to cool off all the dash stuff. Yep, it's working. It's weird that it wouldn't tell you it's the codes. So I'm gonna have to let them know it works now. If the codes come back, it may stop the AC from working again. Okay, I can start on the Matrix. Make sure I get the last of the refrigerant I put back in, whatever little bit of refrigerant it had when it came in. I'm gonna do the condenser and the compressor because the compressor's rattling, so who knows what's going on in there. We're gonna do that too. This cross member should be what holds it in. I think it's pretty easy. They're worried if I can get it done today. I said I might be old, but this is an easy one. The only time it takes a while is on the really odd stuff, cars that have been wrecked and things are bent in the wrong way and all kinds of. But this looks pretty straightforward. I shouldn't brag yet. We'll start taking some 10s out of here. Got the AC pulling down. We'll grab a bite to eat and get back on it. We got a new condenser. We got a new compressor. This thing's basically out except for the lines. So I'm gonna put that in first just so I can put this back in place while I work on the compressor. I would normally want to do it last, but I made the mistake of taking it apart. I wanted to see if it was going to be hard to do. Knowing that I had to get it done today, I was curious if the bumper was going to come off or anything weird, but now here we are. So, man, that's tight. Should be nice and easy. I gotta round up some oil too. I don't think we have any more PAG 46 in stock, and they didn't bring it. They used to bring us kits with all the goodies and O-rings and oil, but now it's just the parts. So I gotta have them order some before I get too crazy with this. So right here where this seam is, that's the middle of the condenser. The hose goes through and comes back on this side, so it's two halves. It's like if it was twice as long and only this high. So I put oil on both sides, about 1.5 ounces, probably a little more than I would normally put in it because it looks like it was a little dry. New O-rings, of course. I'll put this upper cover back on. We'll start on that compressor. Rubber biscuits. This clips on the foot here. And bolts on the sides. Then the metal cover goes on. Good latch support. 4 10mm bolts, real easy. I don't know if the camera's pointing the right way, but I'm getting these lines off the compressor from the top. It looks like they'd be easier from the top. And I think everything else happens from underneath. I'm hoping the belt tension and the belt are okay. I recommended them, but they declined them. So, we'll see what happens with that. I recommended a lot of things on this car. They just want air conditioning. They don't care about nothing else. Which I can understand that. It gets hot around here. I like to look in here. I don't see any metal or anything really nasty in the lines. That's good. This is the low side, the high side. The smaller line is higher pressure. The larger line is lower pressure, which is the suction side. So if you're going to see debris, it'll likely be on the output side or high pressure side. Everything looks pretty good. I don't want oil dye dripping everywhere, so. Alright, let's see here. I can get there's a stud here on top and the wiring harness. The wiring harness is in the bracket too. I think I can get that one from the top and maybe the others all from the bottom. Electrical connector down here. Most Toyota things are kind of make sense to most of us mechanics. Self-tappers for everyone. Uh-oh. That's supposed to be machine thread on that screw usually. Unless I'm remembering it wrong. We'll find out. There's two of them up there. Goes into plastic, it looks like, so that's good. I think it was just a big wood screw and they lost them. So they use self-tappers, has the closest thread. The problem with self-tappers is they dig a little material out. Every single push pin broke, but we got more. Of course, I got all these broken pieces out of here, and sadly, the quickest way is up. 2 12s on the bottom. I also take the stud out on these so I don't have to take the fan and all that stuff out of the way. And I gotta loosen the belt still, which shouldn't be too bad. 14 millimeter, or I might have to do it from here. I don't remember on these. I know they're pretty stiff though. It looks like a 14, it's hard to tell. You know what I got in my pocket right here, so we'll be able to tell better? Oh, some kind of torque dealio. Okay. That means there's one somewhere else to turn, like a 17 or 19. Oh, there it is above it. See it up there? There's like a short socket and a ratchet. Might turn out like a 19 millimeter, I think. Someone this morning said, "What is with the god-awful audio?" I said, I'm going to have my audio team get on it right away. I'm going to guess they won't like that. That's it. There's a couple of guys on there that give me a hard time every time they comment, but you guys keep watching and leaving comments. Helps either way. I appreciate it. Even if it's only to criticize and complain. The one guy in there, he goes in there to complain all the time about me complaining. I'm like, Hey, whatever makes you feel better, run with it. We're all about inclusion on this channel and memberships. Apparently we're also greedy. It's one of the things that, like, I don't begrudge anybody making a living doing what they're doing. But to go into videos and just criticize creators, I don't understand. I'm not right in the right mindset probably. I might have to edit carefully, but I'm just like, go watch someone else's videos. Doesn't, you know. But they do it because it makes them happy to bark at people because of problems they probably have in their own lives. So I see it as weakness, and I kind of feel bad for them. It's kind of a shame, but it is what it is. Everyone's got complaints and hardships in their lives, and if someone wants to tell me theirs, I'll listen. I don't mind listening. A couple of my viewers have had cancer surgery, pulled through that, and I didn't tell them stop complaining. It just doesn't make any sense to me, but it's just like I said, it's just weak-mindedness. People feel better when they're telling you what you're doing wrong, I guess. And like I always say, 98% of you are very encouraging, and that's why I keep doing it. If the few people that give me criticisms constantly were the majority, I would just stop doing it. Because honestly, for the $5 an hour or whatever it is it pays, I do it because I enjoy doing it. I make a couple of dollars as a hobby. And maybe someday it'll be even bigger. I can do it full time. I don't know. It's not a horrible thing to be passionate about something and try to make it into something bigger. There is no oil in this compressor I can see. I held it vertically for a while. Not a drop. There's about 4 ounces in this bottle left. So that's what we're doing. I'm going to put most of it in there, but not all of it. I'm going for 3.5. I'll just leave a tiny little bit in the bottle. I think we'll be pretty good with that. I knew I should put the cap back on there. These variable displacement compressors, very hard to get the oil fed all the way in so it doesn't make a mess. And I look like I got it to feed down when I kept rolling the compressor and turning the pulley. But it's basically off until the computer turns it on. So it's at 0 displacement. I use my vacuum pump in some situations, but this one looked like I didn't have to and it was draining down. Then you go to put it in, you find out you're wrong and you have to put a new shirt on. But it missed me. I'm going to put some new O-rings on the hoses. The stud came out with the nut. I'm going to use my stud socket, screw the stud in as far as I can, and it might be tight and I might have to adjust the nut a little bit from there. A little bit of music going on, we'll see what happens with that, but I just wanted to say that on what I was talking about earlier, that it's okay to want to get a little compensation for what you do. That's what everybody does. Basically, we all sell our time and do what we can to take care of our family the best we can. If we have a little extra, we might even, support charities and things. So, criticism over someone trying to make a living doesn't make any sense either, like some of the other things we talked about. About ready to get this thing on a vacuum. Well, it is vacuuming down, and I got me a PCM for the horn to round up the keys. It's out there in the sun, which makes me a little sad, but we'll go out there, plug this in, hopefully drive it up into the shade, and throw the kick panel and everything else back on after. This thing looks like it got the aerosol overhaul. Hopefully it works. We'll see. They didn't mention if it's pre-programmed and stuff, but I don't think on these 94s it has to be. I don't think they're VIN specific or any of that. Ooh, it's locked. I was going to go in here real quick, plug it in, and we'll see if it starts together. This door doesn't work in the passenger door, silly. We can worry about plugging it in afterwards. I mean, plugging it. We're going to plug it in now. We can worry about bolting it in afterwards. That's the word I want. Words are so hard sometimes. These have tabs so you can't plug them in the wrong way. Pay attention, I'm over here. You guys seem so distant lately. Because I complain so much, probably. I don't really have to do this. Let's see if it starts up. We'll drive it up to the shop. As long as it's all the BCM, I mean, if the PCM is correct and it's programmed, it'll work. There we go. See? Fixing cars is easy. Ooh, triple A. Coming back to us again, huh? Uh-oh, that Acura looked familiar. Let's see what happens. I gotta button this all up. If you saw the video on this car, it's done now. And everybody is gonna be happy, happy, happy. I smell gas though. I gotta look under the hood and make sure we're A-okay under the hood. Alright. Well, it's running. I don't see any leaks. See where the paint came off? That's because the other day when I was testing the fuel pressure, there was some gas spilled. So I sprayed it with my blow gun and the paint came off. But it runs. I'm going to let it run a while. I might have to do an idle learn. So this will be part of that process. And we're kind of done. We'll be checking on this once it's done vacuuming down. Time belt's a little too tight. Someone had the throttle cable. I had to loosen the throttle cable nuts 4 turns so it would idle. It had it at about, it got to about 1700 RPM after it warmed up and ran really bad with the air on. It's got a misfire too. So you can't use the throttle cable to control the idle. There's a stop screw right here. See where that yellow paint is? That's the idle's, the lowest speed it can run is like 500 RPM. Someone's got a new idle control motor on it and all, but see the threads? That's how far I had to back it off to get the idle to come down. But now when you turn the air on, it was almost stalling and the engine was shaking real bad, which it does drop, but really cool on this car is the air works. So we went from not running to running, and then we went from where it probably wasn't idling before it died to now at least it'll idle 2. Someone's written 3 on here. I wouldn't be surprised if it's got low compression in a cylinder or something like that. It is a Honda, you know, they're not very reliable cars. Alright, I'm calling it done at this point. I'll see if one of them guys wants to drive it. We're just about ready to fire this up and see how it works. Oh man, now that is better. That's what we want to see. They're dropping like flies, man. We're fixing them all today. It's raining out and it's muggy. Well, the brights are on. That or not. Ooh, ooh. Ooh, that's cold. If you guys could feel that AC, it's making me want to edit out all the complaining I did today. Just kidding. All right, now we got, look how it's coming down out there, huh? It's raining, and I'm giving them a push pin upgrade. Those crappy ones that they had in here, those break all the time. I'm gonna need some more though. I got all my wood tapping, self-tapping screws ready to go. Just got to give them a little snuggage. I looked up the torque spec, that's what it said, snuggage. So got my audio guy working on the noise from the rain in the background. That's one of the things my buddy Spanky's Hot Rods and Customs, he's a real knowledgeable guy, fixes up old cars, stuff, seems like a good guy, but his audio is my only gripe too. But on his, mine is obnoxious background fans and rain and stuff, but for his it's so quiet and he's so far away it's hard to hear him. But I still watch his videos. He's a good guy and I always learn something. I'm gonna get a couple more of these push pins. We got tons of them anyway. He said go ahead and do it, but make sure my head gasket's okay first. So I tried explaining, you can't really make sure. I can test to see how it's doing right now. And it's possible it's been damaged, and in a month it'll let go. You can't guarantee that, but I can check to see if there's damage now. I know it runs okay when you first start it up, which is actually a good thing, because usually a bad head gasket, at least a few seconds you'll get a misfire. I haven't felt that. Fire it up, do a little test. Like I said, this is going to tell us if it's got a head gasket problem right now. Can't tell you about next week or next month or that. You don't want to let coolant get in there and contaminate it. If you get just a little bit of coolant, it turns it green. And people sell head gaskets based on that a lot. It turns yellow if it's bad. Fluid turns green-yellow when exhaust gases are present in the cooling system. Uh-oh, it got contaminated. That's what happens when it gets contaminated. My bad, I wasn't paying attention just for a second. Alright, it's passing the leak check, and a little bit of bars leak action going on in there, but we're doing a radiator, hoses, and a heater hose assembly. That's for an alternator or something, or for a cable to a battery box. The transformer just got hit by lightning or something. Oh, there it goes. Yay! I was just getting ready to tell you guys. I gotta take the bumper off of here, but we got some miscellaneous screws holding stuff. Screws everywhere, really. Makes it more interesting. There's nothing wrong about it. Don't complain. It's just part of the entertainment. Trying to compete with Vice Grip Garage, you got to come up with something. And if I can just get the grill out of the bumper, I'm going to try to do that. I don't really want to have to mess with any more screws than I have to. Well, that's a bummer. The grill hooks in from the back. It kind of wraps around the bumper and hooks in from the back. So, not a lot of options at this point. You gotta take the condenser off the radiator. Then you can take this off and lift the radiator out. I was only kidding, nobody can compete with Derek. You gotta cut some tie wraps, you gotta pop some plastic here and there. And we might have to even add tie wraps to the equation when we go back together. We'll see. There's a, I don't like throwing those on the floor either. Then they get stuck in your boots and stuff. There's little tabs in here. There's little tabs you can reach back here, kind of pop out. Really. Whoop. Right here. You push them from behind, you can pull it out of here. That traps the bumper. Now, luckily there's a lot of stuff missing under here. That might streamline the process. I'm gonna start this dripping very lightly until I lower it down, because it's gonna make a mess. He declined anything with the oil leaks and that kind of stuff. He's like, let's get it to hold coolant first. There's of course some shenanigans going on in there, and stuff's all busted and glued in place, and I think that piece of plastic is supposed to be part of this bumper, and it goes into like a big giant snap clip, like a piece of trim inside the car would, but it looks like it all broke off the bumper, and that trim clip doesn't have any intentions of letting go before this rips apart again. So we'll have some fabrication and hot rod type stuff to do to put it back together. Again, where else can you find this kind of entertainment? Nowhere. Well, that escalated quickly. Someone put a bolt in it, I guess. Maybe it's supposed to have a bolt. It's not really open on the bottom too well. See what we got on the other side too. Oh yeah. I see why they put wood screws in it and it's all tore down the top. We got wood screws too, and we got the ones it came in with. That's not supposed to be like that. It's bent a little bit. This is bent a little bit. This car was wrecked and patched back together. See this? I don't even know about those because they weren't attached. Normally I would tug on it and say, wait, something's holding it right there. And then you can probably find it from underneath. And there's no real, even my glue, I have that plastic welder gun. It puts staples in them. I find that it's still a temporary patch. There's really, a new bumper is the only real repair. You can patch it temporarily and say there's no warranty. I can't promise you it's going to work kind of thing, which this kind of feels like a waste of time, but maybe we'll try it. We'll see what they want to do. Put it back the way it was, worst case scenario. I'd like to at least bend that straight, but we'll do that a little later. See if we can get more of it apart for tonight. See, this has already been apart several times probably. Popping some of these out. Oh, that'd be easy to get off of there. That one's tight. That one, not so much. I usually leave these on and disconnect the wiring because you got to pull harnesses out of the way anyway to lift this off. This is both super handy from Dodge to do that. It's not the right treads. I'm not sure if that bolt I had on my cart's right either, but I'm gonna try it. Sold! And I'll put this bolt back in my toolbox for the next one that needs this kind of bolt. It's a fair trade. Already a bolt in this one. Super handy. Oh, two on both sides is missing. All the broken stuff and missing bolts is really going to make this happen fast. I bet you if I got a 13 on here, I could go like this. I don't remember what I used a 12 on. Oh, it must have been on the AC on the Toyota. Right there. It's easy. Now I gotta get my rubber biscuits off. Gotta do it eventually anyway, might as well do it now. Closing in on the end of the day. Now, I'll pull this upper hose out of here, which is all worm clamps. Probably not the best to use on plastic stuff, but I know a lot of people love them and they think they're great, but the problem is plastic contracts and expands a little more than metal. That's why they use constant tension clamps. But some people insist they're better, you don't know what you're talking, whatever. They come from the factory with the constant tension clamps because of that. Do with that information what you may. Can't even count on them to work twice. Gotta cut some stuff. Gotta cut my tie wrap back. Supposed to be a bracket that goes in there, but it's long gone. That tells you a lot. I loosen this clamp. This one it didn't loosen. Pull up the top. I'll take it any way I can get it, man. Hose removal tools. You know, we put new ones on. Oftentimes, I'll just cut these and pull them off. But I've had instances lately where we get a hose, it's wrong. I try to make it work, you can't make it work. They got you the wrong one. Oh, it's not available. And I cut the old ones off. So, for now, for a while till they organize part situations in the aftermarket, I just prefer not to cut them off if I don't have to. Unless they're blown open. It's quitting time. Beer 30. Alright guys, we are buttoned up for the day. Really not a bad day. Best day I've had here in a while. Kind of strange, all the venting and stuff last week. Hope you enjoyed it. I hope I didn't complain too much today. I probably did make us some bad points, some personal opinion points, but that's alright. It is what it is. You guys tell me what you think. I like to read the comments, especially with 98% of them being positive. It's like the same 3 guys that constantly have negative stuff, but that's what negative people do, right? The rest of us are working on making things better. Torque that like button before you leave. Subscribe if you're new. Hope I see you in another video, because you're awesome.